everybody. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium with today. The 16-0 playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. The Philadelphia Eagles were 10-1. Now they're 11-5. You know why? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Well, anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. Uh-oh, hold on, time out here. I feel like I'm going to move the chair for my buddy Manny. Hold on. All right. Okay, Randy's here. All right, we can continue. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in the chat box, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, very top link in the description box, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you so much. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And then finally, also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one just underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. It's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. It's Twitter 3 trillion years from now. I'm an old-time fart. It's Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on him. I'm not calling at it. It's Twitter. So it's my Twitter account. Basically, I try to put Giants-related stuff in there every day. If you follow me, I will follow you back. That's an absolute promise. As I said, the link right above it, it's a Facebook link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 7,500 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in here, but members post stuff in here as well. But so between me and the members, there's a boatload of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, guys. Well, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with and everything. Well, here we are. The final preview of the year. Once, as I said last night, man, I'll tell you, it's amazing how fast the time flies by. You don't know whether, just to be bummed out or just like after this season's over, it's like, whew, thank goodness that's going on in the next season. So once again, it says, we could, it's one of those woulda, coulda, shoulda seasons. Obviously, we certainly could have won some more bowl games, but I think even if we were at like a top form and all that and everything, I still don't think we were quite there with the big boys. You know what I mean? I try because we would have had definitely would have had if we were going to play the Cowboys in the playoffs, would have been in Dallas. We were playing obviously the 49ers, me in San Francisco. We saw what we did against the Saints are barnstormers and all, but in New Orleans, right? They whipped our butts. We still haven't beaten Philly and Philadelphia since Abraham Lincoln, I think, was the president then. You know what I mean? So we're not there. We're not there. The one nice thing is, as of right now, we're 2-3 in the division. Last year we were 1-4-1. So instead of tying the Commanders like we did last year, this year we beat them twice. Okay, so have we really gotten better? we can, certainly show the world. I think without a doubt, you could say what, like in the beginning of the season, well, we didn't close the gap with Philly and all that stuff. I think I definitely think without a doubt we closed the gap on them because they're not that good. Their defense stinks. And we're on a third string quarterback. If they're on their third string quarterback, their offensive line was decimated by injuries. I don't think they have anybody injured on their offensive line. Shocking. I don't think they had anybody injured. Well, I think Lane Johnson missed a game or so late. But I mean, every year, the Eagles, probably start an offensive line, run out there to game one, line up, run 800 plays, end of the game, run off. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's dancing the Macarena. Woo! 17 games later, the same 5 run onto the field, right? They run another 800 plays, end of the game. They're all running off the field. Everybody's happy and hell yeah. Giants, we couldn't even get to a field goal attempt without our guy pulling a hamstring. We do a tush push. I think we lost with Bellinger and Michael Schmitz for a couple of games or something like. I mean, just So if the Eagles were as decimated by injuries as the Giants are, the Giants, take the Eagles, decimate their line, with injuries like the Giants, right? And bring that team in here and line up against the Giants. Okay, and let's go at it. I'm not saying we'd beat them, but the gap wouldn't be that bad. Okay, so it's kind of tough, really, to get a good judge on it. We've closed the gap with Philadelphia because we're decimated by injuries, right? So, but I think we definitely, regardless what the record is, I think we definitely closed the gap because Philadelphia, they've lost 4 out of the last 5. The one game they barely beat the Giants. Of course, they had to grease the palms of the refs. When Tyrod's throwing a pass to Wan'Dale Robinson, and one guy's all over him, not looking back or nothing like that. And it's like the see no foul ref was out there. I didn't see nothing. Looks good to me. Because then we throw the ball in the end zone, one of the last plays of the game. And, guy, it looks like Saquon goes flying out of bounds. I guess the see no evil ref was there. I mean, whatever, But, so basically, we're playing with a bunch of backups in there, a second-string quarterback, and we came within a whisker of beating the Eagles. So I definitely think we closed the gap on them. But we're 2-3. We got a chance. Got a chance tomorrow. I mean, the Eagles were definitely, without question, Christmas Day, the better team, without question. They deserved to win the game. They won the game without question. Okay. But this is a different game, right? Slay's not going to be in there. DeVonta Smith's not in there. Our problem is, we'll just have to wait and see. But I'd say there could be some sloppy, crazy kind of weather out there. That could be an equalizer. Ball could be bouncing around crazy. You know what I mean? So things could happen. As bad as the season's been, it would really, really be nice if, as I said, the football gods up above said, let's throw the Giants a bone this week. We them over so badly this year. We made it so bad. There's no way, that they were going to win anything. Let's throw them a bone. Now, basically, the season's over with and all that stuff and everything. Let's throw them a bone, right? So we'll have to wait and see. But must win for Philly. That's what Dallas Goedert thinks, and I gotta agree with him. I really have to agree with him. Let me read this story. I think he's good tight end, man. Good solid tight end. I really think he has a very good point here. Let me go over this here. This is from Big Giants Wire. Eagles Dallas Goedert believes this Giants game is a must win, and I said I really got to believe it, wholeheartedly. This Sunday, the New York Giants host the Philadelphia Eagles in the final game of the regular season. The Giants would love to avenge their loss 2 weeks ago, but the Eagles need to build momentum. Momentum. That's the key thing here. Momentum heading into the playoffs. I mean, they've lost 4 they were 10-1, right? everybody, they had them pretty much the number one seed and all, they were the number one team in the NFL, 10-1. They've lost 4 out of the last 5. And the only team they beat was the Giants. They couldn't even beat the Cardinals last week. All right. In order to gain that momentum, tight end Dallas Goedert says the Eagles must need to reverse the course and start clicking, which is, because it's a hell of a point he has, a heck of a point he's got here. There's no like what happened with St. Louis. Okay, we lost. Now we're back at it. We don't have the number one seed, but we're still going to the playoffs. That ain't happening. And once the playoffs roll around, all right, well, we lost in the playoffs in the first round, but we'll get them in a second. No. You lose, badoosh, you're gone. So for him to say, you want to be clicking, losing 4 out of your final 5 and going into this game, and if they lose 5 out of their final 6 going to the playoffs, that's not what you want to be doing. Not that I care, but Dallas guys has an excellent point. But I said, when the Eagles lose in the playoffs, because they will, I will absolutely love it. I will be doing my happy, happy dance. Let me tell you what. We want to be playing our best football going into the playoffs. And the thing is, because obviously, I'm thinking they might have a bye. I'm thinking last season. There's no bye. It's not, it's kind of tough to go into the playoffs. As I said, if they lose to the Giants, they lose 5 out of the final 6 games if they lose, right? And then all of a sudden, just to magically think you're going to turn it on and just start beating everybody because they have to go on. They'd have to go on the road, pretty much. Quite possibly, they have to be on the road because they're the number 5, right? Number 5 seed. They'll be going on the road against whoever wins the South. Now they have a better record. They're probably a better team, whoever wins the South, but they're going to be on the road. Then if they were to win that, okay, quite possibly, the next game they'll have to win would be in San Fran. San Fran will be should be rather healthy. It doesn't matter because they're locked up the number 1 seed. So it can be interesting to see what the 49ers decide to do as far as resting their players, resting any play. They want to give each one a half or something like that, give them a little something. Not really risk injury, and just, I say, give them a little bit, give them the whole game off, let them play the whole game. Because the thing is that they're going to have a week off. So if playing a game tomorrow, if they give Shanahan gives the 49ers, the starters, the whole game off, well, that'll be 1 week off. Then they got to bye. Then they got to, then it's do or die. So you got your starters haven't played in 3 weeks, and you're going to just go out there against a very good team and go, okay, guys, just go win us a game, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting. Going back to the Eagles, I said they're going to have to go on the road and beat whoever wins the South. Okay, once again, the Eagles have a better record than the team in the South. They'll probably are a better team than the team that wins the South, but they're on the road. I said the next week, quite possibly, they might have to go play in San Fran. And then quite possibly they might have to play Dallas in Dallas. So, I don't really see any way, especially where their defense is. I really don't see it any way at all. Not that I'm being bummed out about this point. I said, when they lose, I'm going to be very happy. But I'm saying, but for them to beat, like, say, whoever, Bucs or the Saints or whoever, but then go on the road, play against San Fran, and then maybe have to beat Dallas or the Lions in Detroit, and they have to play in the Super Bowl, maybe beat the Ravens or something. I don't see that happen with the Eagles. But I said, Dallas guys, he has a very good point here. You want to be clicking on all cylinders. We know that we're going to have some adjustments against us, but it's nice being familiar with them and knowing what they might try to do to stop us. I'm taking the positive approach here. He said, we're just a spark away. I think everybody in this locker room believes that we have incredible talent here, and if we play a good physical football game like we can, it's going to be tough for any team to beat us. Well, let's not get that carried away there, buddy. We haven't been doing that recently, and we need to do that this game, gain some confidence, and hopefully take them into the playoffs and play the best football we can. Guy was drafted by the Eagles in 2018. This year, he's recorded 58 receptions on 80 targets for 588 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he's also missed some time, too. So with the Giants game, and he missed quite a few games, so he would easily, if he was healthy all season long, he would easily be on pace for at least 70 receptions. Yeah, another phenomenal season. Like 70 receptions, probably like 800 yards, maybe 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Once again, another solid season, right? He's not necessarily Jalen Hurts' first target, but he can block and he can get open when needed which makes him such an asset. Oh, yeah. That's what makes him so he's tall. You can always throw him the ball. He's a good blocker, just a real good, solid tight end. The Giants are certainly, without question, going to have their hands full, without question. The Giants kind of got that, they got like kind of Bellinger, who's might be the better blocker, and Waller, who obviously is the better pass catcher. But if you combine those two, you'd have yourself like a Dallas Goedert, something like that. Now, the Giants made some roster moves here. All right. Elevating another quarterback. Interesting. They put Pinnock on IR. So, he wasn't playing, put him on IR so they can elevate somebody, or some from the practice squad. So they made a few roster moves. My man Kajust, I always love saying that name. He's one of the guys. Giants placed Jason Pinnock. It says here foot, but apparently it's a toe on injury reserve. Pinnock, who had already been declared out of the game on Friday, was injured in the first quarter of last week's loss to the Rams. Dane Belton is expected to get his start in his place. Now, as I said, he's getting his start, and let's hope McKinney and maybe a Carrick can play the whole game, every snap, and they would be the only 2 defensive players in the NFL to play every snap of every game this season for their team. So that would be a heck of an accomplishment, especially in today's NFL. And especially now they're playing 17 games. The team also signed quarterback Jacob Eason and tight end Adoree Jackson from their practice squad to the 53-man roster. Eason, who was signed to the practice squad this week, provides depth given that Tyrod Taylor has been dealing with a back ailment that, while landing him on this week's injury report, didn't land him on an injury designation now. Jackson gives the Giants additional depth at tight end after the team placed Lawrence Cager on the injured reserve last week. So that's right. So they only had the 2 tight ends between Bellinger and Waller. Giants also elevated offensive tackle Yodny Kajust and kicker Mason Crosby from the practice squad. Kajust will provide backup depth after the team lost Jaelan Phillips last week to the season-ending injury, torn quad tendon, for which he had surgery on Tuesday. Kajust is expected to back up both Andrew Thomas and Matt Parrott, as he has done the last 2 weeks since being signed to the practice squad. Crosby will handle the place kicking duties. Yeah, he does not have a booming leg, that is for sure. I don't even know if he even had a touchback last week. I mean, he's a 39-year-old, and it's a 39-year-old leg. Right? Rosas, whatever it was. I mean, the guy that we used to have. I mean, the young guy, the guy that got into trouble and stuff like that, or whatever it was. I mean, he had a good leg. What a good leg he had. Our thing is that what we need to do is find somebody somewhere. I don't know if we get the crystal ball out and Graham Gano will be ready for next season. Hopefully he will be, but somewhere along the line, the Giants are going to want to certainly, obviously, go younger. Somewhere along the line, we'll have to wait and see. Somebody, as I said, hopefully with a good, strong leg, and because one thing you like, it's nice seeing kickoffs, guys running kickoffs back, because it's a very, very exciting play. I hate to see it come out of football, but you like to also have a guy, a kicker on your team who can just send them into the end zone and know the other team pretty much going to start out at the 25. So somewhere along the line, the Giants are going to have to get younger there. But I mean, you also look at it too like this: is that the Giants were I believe the second youngest team in the NFL, and that's with also including Graham Gano on the roster too. So I mean, the Giants, nice young. But after this season's over, between free agency and whatever, I mean, the Giants are going to have some holes to fill. Now they have some holes to fill, but then we have to get some in some areas, get some depth as well too. So Shane, these guys work cut out for him. Giants and every other NFL team not headed to the postseason will be able to sign additional players from their practice squad to reserve futures contracts starting Monday, the day after their regular season ends. So that's good. Very good. Look for the team to try to sign as many of the remaining practice squad players as possible. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, as I said, so it's like, what we got? Star Wars, Geek 85. We need enough. Oh, man. I mean, how long have we been saying that? You know what I mean? How long have we been saying that? That's one of the things is, I think Bobby Johnson, our offensive line coach, is going to be gone. Don't know. I wouldn't even want to venture to guess who would be, who could try to go after. I did see a report though. That this could be good. The Falcons coach, I can't remember what his name is, but there's a possibility because they've been kind of like fluttering around like whatever mediocrity for however long this coach, I think is his third season with the Falcons, at least the second, not third, just been floating around mediocrity. Was a possibility. Is it Eric Bieniemy? I think the Falcons are maybe thinking about looking to bring him maybe as their the offensive coordinator for the Great Commanders. Maybe hiring, maybe, once again, Bieniemy is their coach. So if they were to fire, the Atlanta Falcons were to fire their coach, right? Quite possibly the staff might go because Bieniemy might want to bring in his own staff, right? The Falcons' offensive line coach is pretty good. Now they have, I can't remember. Let me check this out here real fast. You got to give me a second here. It's either, let's see, there we go. It's either their offensive. There we go. Okay. NFL 2020, because I'm on PFF. It's either they're running by team. Okay, here we go. Pass blocking. Who's number one? The Falcons are number one. Run block. Is it run blocking? Where the hell are they? Okay. The Falcons run blocking, according to PFF. They're number 6, 69.2. Pass blocking. What are they? Oh, they're number 4, pass blocking. The Falcons were number 1. Maybe it was run blocking, but the Falcons are 7-9. But as I said, their pass blocking grade is number 4, according to PFF, and their run blocking is number 6. So I just saw a report. That's all I saw was that maybe the guy, the offensive line coach from the Falcons, might get let go and he might become available, and the Giants could. All I saw was just a report. He might become available. And as I said, they don't have the greatest. They don't have like 5 number 1. This guy's a first rounder. He's a first rounder. He's a first rounder. He's a first. I mean, they don't have that. So he's taking the best of what they got, and he's getting some very good results from what he has. So that's a possibility right there. There's a ton of guys out there. I mean, there's quite possibly a lot like what we have with Rob Sale. Whatever that was, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever that was, we had him here for a year. He was here for 1 year, and then he went, and then he left again. But he was very successful at the college level. So there's going to be a bunch of guys. Especially in the college level, if the pros come calling, just maybe you might want to, this might be a coach or so out there might want to bring his A game to the NFL level. So there'll be guys out there. But I mean, I'd be rather shocked if Bobby Johnson isn't let go. I'd be really, really shocked there. And because you look around the league, I mean, look at the Eagles. They have one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in football. Right? They got a first rounder and a second rounder. I mean, Jason Kelsey, their center. I think he's like a 5th or 6th round pick. He's a Hall of Famer. What are your thoughts on Barkley possibly not being a Giant next year? That is room. Yeah, well, it's one of my things here. He said he was talking about one of the things talking about sending a message to Shane. He's like, I just want a fair. I want a fair offer, but okay, but you don't know what a fair offer is. His idea of a fair offer could be, I don't want 15 million, 12, 13. I'm good with that, Shane, his offer could be, 8 to 10. You know what I mean? So we'll have to wind up waiting and see. It'd be interesting to see, though, that if they don't come to an agreement, if they franchise tag them, right? It'd be interesting to see if they don't work out a deal or something like that, see if Barkley winds up playing hardball or not. The nice thing about, at least with the franchise, if they have to franchise tag him, is that he's guaranteed the 12.3 million, 12.2 million. He's guaranteed that, but there's no long-term stability there. I mean, it's just a one deal, 1 year deal. That's it. So, I would love to bring him back. I mean, not for you don't know what his fair deal is, what fair market is, or what if he's thinking about 13, 14, 15 like he was last year, or is his expectations on what he thinks he's worth come down? Does he think he's more around the 10, 11 range or something like that? So, but I think he also said he was going to try to become more involved. Because like last year, he had the woman. I can't remember what the agency she was from, but I think he let her do more, and he was kind of like more hands off. In the negotiations, and things didn't really go so well. There seemed like there might have been a possibility, could have struck a deal or something like that, but I guess they were playing hardball, and then he got a new agent in there, and once he got the new agent in there, they seemed they seemed right after that. At least they got the franchise tag done. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, but because next year is going to be his 7th season, right? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 7th season. So he's once again. I mean, with the touches he's had this season, going to get close to about another 300 touches. Right, this season. I hope we can get him his 84 yards that he needs for 1,000 yards. I think that would be very, very important to him. I think when it all is said and done, I really think he would like to be here. I really think he'd like to finish his career, like what Shep's doing. Play another 3 or 4 seasons or something like that. See if we can maybe get us back into the playoffs or whatever like that. I think it's hard. I really think he would like to be here instead of being someplace else. But we'll have to wait and see. As I said, that's one of those. He's got a long laundry list of stuff he's got to do this year. I said, because we don't have a ton of money. We got guys going. I said, like Saquon. What Adoree Jackson. What are we doing with Xavier McKinney? So we have guys that are going to be leaving. Where are we going to replace those guys at in the draft? We don't have a lot of free agent money to bring free agents in. So we got, and I said, and then the holes that we have right now, we need another edge rusher. As I said, if we let Adoree Jackson go, who's going to be the other cornerback that's going to take his place? If we don't re-sign Xavier McKinney, do they think Dane Belton can take his place? Well, okay, if he takes his place, and you got Penei, he's still going to need some more depth at safety. The offensive line. Holy crap! Who hopefully we maybe bring Tyree Phillips back, but are we going to bring Parrott back? Right? We could let Glowinski go after this season. I think Bredesen could be. I think he might be a free agent after this season. Lemieux. That guy can't stay healthy. So we got a lot of holes on the offensive line. Then we need to add some depth there. Sterling Shepard, obviously he'll be gone. We still need a dog of a wide receiver. So we got a lot of. I said right now we need at least one edge rusher. At least one edge rusher. We still don't know. Yeah, Dom. Yeah, I'm forgetting all about that too. Quarterback. Is our future friend? Nope. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they think about him. Because Shane did say that they were going to have to address the quarterback situation without question, because he doesn't seem like they're going to be bringing Tyrod Taylor back. Because Shane was saying that Tyrod Taylor's contract's up. He didn't mention anything at all about, we're going to work in maybe trying to bring him back or something. So without question, I think we what Shane said, we're going to need to address it. Now, whether that's going to be in the second, third round, and you get somebody in, and maybe somebody you can think maybe you can develop, right? Go out and bring in somebody in free agency, right? Somebody like a Tyrod Taylor, to back up behind Jones. But then you don't know what Jones's long-term health is going to be. I mean, because he's had a couple neck injuries, coming back from an ACL. Usually your first year coming back from an ACL, you're not fully 100%. Usually your second season coming back, you're more back to yourself. So, if they're picking like number 5 or so, they got a chance to take a quarterback. Because after next season, they can get out of Daniel Jones's contract, right? In 2025, they can let him go. And it would be like a $22 million cap hit, I think it is. So they'd have some dead cap money, but they could let him go. Right. And let's not forget, when Shane and Dable came in, Daniel Jones was there. It's like, here's your quarterback, guys. Good luck. And let's not forget, one telltale sign of the Daniel Jones contract was they can get out after 2 seasons. It's not like, a 4-year deal. Well, we're probably going to have him for 3 years or this and that. They can get out basically after 2 seasons. So that kind of lets you also know that, maybe they're not 100% sold on Daniel Jones. He did seem to regress. It's, because it's one of those things that's really, really tough to tell. He seemed to take a step back this season, but was that he take a step back because every time he's getting the ball, he has 13 guys ready to rip his head off? Nobody can block. And as the games kept going on and he kept getting hit and hit and hit and hit and hit, that's going to take its toll on anybody, right? Any quarterback's going to get shell shocked, but he just didn't seem like he was the same quarterback as he was like the year. He never seemed really comfortable in the pocket. The one thing too, you got to look at is that, not so much maybe for Shane, but at least for Dable. If they get a new quarterback, that would give him a couple years. That would give him a little more time, right? Because if they draft a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round and they try to develop him, maybe give him a couple years to develop, but they stick with Daniel Jones. And if he's injured, if he gets injured again, if he's still shell shocked back there, if he's still staring down his first target, looking, okay, I'm going to throw it, and the defensive back jumps in front of it like they did in the Seattle game, runs it back for a touchdown. If he's still not the same, if they don't have a quarterback, Dable's kind of screwed. So the one nice thing, if they do go out of their way and get a quarterback that will buy him some time, it's not going to make Mr. Mara very happy because he really loves Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones has put his heart and soul into this team and everything like that. Hasn't really worked out to wins and losses, but Mr. Mara really, really loves Daniel Jones. But if Shane and Dable, they go out and get a quarterback, especially early on, right, that'll buy him at least a couple more years, because especially for Dable anyway, the coach. But you do know is that if they go out of their way and they do draft a quarterback, Dable's going to be hands-on. Dable's going to, I wouldn't be surprised if Dable's calling the plays maybe next year. They will be hands-on with this quarterback, maybe like a Josh Allen kind of thing. He had some good success with Josh Allen, right? He knows a thing or two about quarterbacks. So it'd be very, very interesting to see what they do. Especially just saying we're picking 5, right? Well, you got to figure that the Patriots and the Commanders need quarterbacks, right? So you can almost guarantee that they're going to take a quarterback. But now comes the interesting thing, right? Now comes the game. Hold on here. All right, they're 3-4. Let me see here. Let me put in Tankathon here. Tankathon 2024. Is that right? Would that be right? Mock draft? No, not. Oh, okay. All right, here we are. So now you figure right now, just what they got. Is that the mock? Is that? Let me check this. Let me check this out of draft order. Is that the same thing? Okay, my bad. All right. So the Giants are picking 5. So now, just if everybody stays the same, just say nobody. Say New England loses to the Jets and they remain at 3. Say the Commanders lose to the Cowboys, they remain at 2. And say the Cardinals lose to the Seattle Seahawks, they remain at 4. And just say the Giants lose. So the Giants stay at 5. Now, the interesting thing is Washington is 2, New England's 3. They both need quarterbacks. Does one of them, jump up and try to talk to the Bears, right? About getting up to number 1. Because if you go up to number 1, yeah, you can take whoever you want. Or do they try to put this Washington stay put at number 2 and cross their fingers and hope that nobody jumps in front of them at number 1? Because you look at what would be so perfect for the Bears, right? What would be absolutely perfect for the Bears? If the Bears think that they're good with that, they can rock and roll with Justin Fields, what would be absolutely perfect for them, right? Because they don't, the team's okay, but it could use some help. What would be perfect for them is have somebody come up, trade a couple extra picks for the Bears. The Bears move back a few spots, and Bears just start collecting some draft capital. Now, if somebody's coming up to number 1, the Bears aren't sliding back a few spots or whatever and picking up the other team's 1st and 7th rounder. That ain't happening. They move back 3, 4, 5 spots, whatever it might want to be, and they're getting the other team's 1st round pick this year, maybe the 1st round for next year, maybe a 2nd round. They're getting some good time capital, and that would be absolutely if they think that they're rolling with Fields. If they think they can win with Fields and they're rolling with Fields, the best thing they can do is just move on back and just collect some extra draft capital. So it's going to be interesting to see, right? Does New England want to try to jump in front of the Commanders to number 1? Do the Commanders want to just trade with the Bears and just swap, right? And just that way they'll be number 1 no matter what, and they can have their quarterback. Gettleman destroy. That Joe and Brian have a lot of work to do. Oh, yeah. I mean, the salary cap. Last season the salary cap was unbelievable. Thankfully, a lot of some of the dead money we had this year was because of Kenny Golladay. It was a shame that we couldn't even, Dable. They didn't even hardly use Golladay last season at all. Yeah, he left this Gettleman in some cap hell, definitely. Now, I said once again, this season we don't have a ton of cap space. We got cap space. But we, as I said, if we're going to sign our draft class, we're going to bring Barkley back. I'm just saying, if we're going to bring Barkley back, or right, it's going to obviously cost some money. So it's going to chew into our salary cap space. Now Shane could get some extra cap space by making some moves and all and everything. But but we don't have a ton. But we have a lot in 2025. We have a lot of cap space coming up. So between this draft here and the draft in 2025 and the free agent money that we have in maybe 2025, we should be able to get a nice core of young guys in here. And hopefully we can, because next year it's going to be like our recovery year. We're going to lose some guys. We'll be replacing some guys, with some of the guys that we lost. Maybe we get a little more depth, but, I don't know if we're going to be leaps and bounds better than we were this season. Especially if we do draft a quarterback, right? Because is it going to be kind of like the Daniel Jones, Eli Manning kind of thing? Because Daniel Jones, and it was the same thing. Eli Manning, Kurt Warner. What was it? The Giants were 2004. The Giants were 5-4. Then they put Eli Manning in, right? And the rest of the season, he stuck. We went from 5-4 to 5-10. So Eli Manning lost his first 6 games. won the final game of the season. So basically we tanked in 2004. Well, the same thing with Daniel Jones, right? Daniel Jones was there on the sideline, I think, for 4 games. We brought him in against Tampa Bay. I was just starting, you know what I mean? So it might be the same thing next season, right? If Daniel Jones is ready or not, if we do draft a quarterback, well, how long do you have him standing on the sideline, right? Because you know everybody's going to want the new quarterback coming in. Yeah, everybody's going to be chomping at the bit if we get a new quarterback. It's like a new toy. Let's get to bring the new toy in there. You know, see what they can do, especially if it's one of these high profile, like Caleb Williams or somebody like that, one of these high profile quarterbacks. You know, it's going to be a lot of excitement. You know, so how long do you have him standing on the sideline, right? Waiting to bring him in, because every game he's standing on the sideline is that much less experience he's getting, because you want to be in the game getting live bullets. Yeah, so it's going to be a heck of a season. I said once the game's over, it's about 7:26 tomorrow night. 7:26. You know, the next like 3-4 months is going to be a freaking roller coaster. Letting coaches go, bringing new coaches in, not signing this free agent, bringing this free agent in, draft and this and that. Man, it's going to be a next 3-4 months. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun. I tell you what, he's got his work. Shane and Dable, they got their work cut out for him, without question. Now we have, let's see, the draft scenario here. I did see this here. Commanders, they're currently picking second most likely draft position. Okay, right. It would be third. The chances to pick number 2 right now is 76%, according to, is this ESPN, I guess? ESPN. Somehow they figured it out. The Commanders' chances of picking number 3 is 18%. Pick number 4 is 5%. They have a less than a 1% chance of picking number 5. So the Commanders got a good chance of staying at like either number 2 or 3. The Patriots, right? They're at number 3. Chances of them picking number 2 is 18%. Chances of them picking where they're at is 42%. Chances of them maybe sliding back to number 4 is 29%. Chances of them sliding back to number 5, where the Giants are at, the Patriots, would be only 11%. The Cardinals, chances of them moving up to pick number 2 is 5%. Chances of them moving up one spot from 4 to 3 is 33%. Chances of them staying where they're at, right, is only 26%, according to ESPN. They can move back to number 5, would be 8%. They can move back to number 6, and they can move back to number 7. So the Cardinals can go anywhere from 2nd to 7th. Now the Giants could go anywhere from 2nd to 8th. They got they're like one of the biggest. Well, the Jets, they're a big mover too. The Jets could go anywhere from 5th to 12th. But the Giants here, what are they at here? The Giants, chances of going to pick number 2 is less than 1%, but the Giants have a chance of going to pick number 2. But the chance of them going to pick number 3 is 7%. Chances of them, though, going up to slot number 4 is 36%. Chances of them staying where they're at is 43%. And then there's small chances where they can move back to number 6, 7, or 8. Chances of them sliding back to pick number 8 is 1%. Chances of them sliding back to pick number 7 is 6%. Chances of them sliding back to number 6 is 7%. So between 6, 7, and 8, according to ESPN, however their algorithm figures this stuff out, they have a 14% chance, the Giants, of going back to either pick number 6, 7, or 8. It says what needs to happen. The Giants need to lose to the Eagles and have any of the 4-win teams, Commanders, Patriots, or Cardinals, to emerge victorious. That should be enough for the Giants to jump to respective teams that enter the 5-win group. So if the Cardinals, the Commanders, or the Patriots, any of them win, they would join the 5-win group, which would be the Giants. Then the Giants could quite possibly, according to ESPN here, move up a slot. An upset over the Eagles could drop the Giants back down to number 8. The Eagles need to win and Cowboys lose to clinch the division title. So both teams have something to play for. The Giants also don't want the Commanders, Patriots, and Cardinals to lose. That would make it impossible to move up. But I mean, the Giants and the players don't give a crap where they're picking at. I mean, only for the most part, us fans do, right? But as I said, the Commanders, they sometimes give the Cowboys a good run for the money. It's the final game, might be the last game for Rivera as the coach and everything like that. It's in Washington. Cowboys aren't a good team on the road, so we'll have to wait and see. The Patriots have been playing very good ball the past few weeks. They're playing against the Jets. They could win that one. And the Cardinals went on the road and beat the Eagles. They could, and they're playing. I believe they're playing the Seahawks. So I mean, anything can happen in that one. I mean, if they play as well against the Seahawks as they did against the Eagles, the Cardinals could certainly want to win in that one too. So the Giants got a chance. You tell them they got a chance. I mean, of at least maybe moving up another spot or so. It's tough to say. I mean, because, if the Patriots were to win and the Giants move ahead of the Patriots, now the Patriots are behind the Giants. The Patriots need a quarterback. But that doesn't stop any of the teams from trying to jump up, though, either. As I said, if long as the Bears think they can rock and roll with Fields, I think they can. You just got to give them another target to throw to or something like that. But as long as they think they can rock and roll with Bears, the best thing the Bears could do would go move back from number one and start collecting some extra draft capital. That would be freaking huge for the Bears. It's just they're what are they, like 7 and what are they? Are they 7 and 9? 7 and 9. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, if they, I don't know if they're going to win or not, but even if they wind up 7 and 10, that's not too bad. Ain't too bad at all. But I mean, if they can move back, so I'm sure they'll be entertaining, calls as long as they think they're going to go with Fields. I mean, if they see something in Caleb Williams and they're like, no matter what we do, Justin Fields is not going to be Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams we think he's really special. But then they're almost in a no-lose situation there either, right? Because if you got Justin Fields and let's just say they draft Caleb Williams, right? Because they're drafting number one no matter what. Lock it in, right? They got those two guys. If they think they can, if Caleb Williams comes in and this, that, and the other thing, they got Justin Fields. Somebody would give up something for Justin Fields. It may not be 7 first-round picks or nothing like that, but they'll get a nice little something for Justin Fields, right? So if they draft Caleb Williams, and they trade away Justin Fields, they'll get something in return for him. So the Bears are really in a really good situation. Really good situation. I mean, it would even almost behoove them to move back a couple times. If somebody else calls them up and say, hey, you want to move back to number 10? We'll give you our first rounder and another, But it's going to be very, very interesting to say. It's always exciting. It's always exciting, especially having to pick this low. It's always exciting, especially, for a couple things. One is when you maybe get a new regime in, you get a new GM in, you get a new coach in. It's always exciting. It's like a new toy. Even when Joe Judge came in, it was kind of like, okay, don't know much about him or nothing, but he's got to be better than Shermer. Maybe he might be the man. Let's see your little excitement there. And Dable comes in, some exciting, but it's also exciting when you you draft a quarterback. Not when you take a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round. That's not overly exciting. But when you take one really high, I mean, like with Eli back in 2004. Phil Simms, we drafted him early in 1979, right? Obviously, then with Daniel Jones, pick 6, right? When you draft a quarterback, really, that's exciting too. So if we do draft a quarterback, even if the excitement, the buzz around the new quarterback would be just so exciting. Even if we wind up, say, next season going 8-9 again or whatever, maybe don't make the playoffs, but just that buzz of the new quarterback could be really, really exciting, especially if you see some potential in him. But it's going to be very, very interesting. And then go along here, Saquon. I saw this ad here. Sending a message to Joe Schoen with contract talks coming. Sending a clear message. Saquon, you already know what's going on to be talked about with him in the offseason. Since being drafted by the Giants in 2018, Barkley's become the face of the franchise. He shared the spotlight in his rookie season with Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, it was a shame, I mean, because if you look at it, really for, for like the 1 year, right? We had like the greatest running back. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of argue, Tiki has the numbers over Saquon, but you can always look, with Barkley with his moves and stuff like that. He was special. But I mean, we had for like 1 year, we had like our best quarterback ever back there, Eli Manning. We had Odell Beckham Jr. out there running routes, probably the scariest guy we've ever had running routes. We had Homer Jones back in the 60s who was fast and all this stuff and everything, but he can only run so many routes. He wasn't, he wasn't like an Odell Beckham Jr. So, I mean, for like the 1 year, we had Saquon, we had Odell, and we had Eli Manning. We had like the top three guys, almost like of all time, on the team. Right. But I mean, you can certainly say Saquon's, he's not the same as he was. Let's see here. It's no secret that Saquon wants to be a Giant for life. He's made that clear on numerous occasions when speaking to the media. With contract talks coming for a second straight offseason, both sides have major decisions to make. Saquon said he's open to getting something done with the Giants before free agency. That's great. He says, I just want something that is fair. But like I said, I get it. It's a business. If it's not here, hopefully it's someplace else. Yeah, I mean, if it's not, but, the thing is that, if the Giants don't get him, he'll go on the open market. Somebody's going to sign him. Absolutely. But will he have to swallow a little bit of pride? I mean, some guy, everybody, every running back that did get paid, there's 3, 4, 5 that are really good that ain't getting paid. I mean, you look at Dalvin Cook. Hey, good for him. He got picked up, I think, by the Ravens. Good for you, brother, right? But I mean, some of these guys, they think, they get let go and they're puffing their chest out and they find the best contract they're going to get is from the Carolina Panthers for 4 years for $8 million a year or something like that. Right. So it's, you don't know, I just want something that's fair. Well, that's absolutely couldn't agree with you more. But the problem is, what does he think is fair and what does Shane think is fair? And can they bridge that gap? Right? Can they bridge that gap? Because you got to remember, now another year later, more tread is taken off the tires for Saquon, right? He's another year older, right? He's not going to be getting next year. He's not going to be faster than he was this season, So he's what's fair in his eyes. There's been a lot of talk, right? Thousands of kids don Barkley on the back of their jerseys, mimicking his acrobatic spin moves, hoping to try and be like their idol. When negotiations with the Giants began, his impact on the fan base is certainly going to come up. That's what Barkley wants his legacy to be with the Giants. Of course, he wants to bring another Lombardi trophy into the facility. That's first and foremost. However, it can't go unmentioned just how much Barkley means to the Giants community. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, and there's this. Let's hope we can get the freaking guy his 84 yards. Barkley is 916 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns this season, just 84 yards away from his fourth career 100,000-yard rushing season. Now, let's not forget, he got 80 yards rushing against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. So maybe if we can pound the rock and pound it, maybe if he can, maybe, as I said, their secondary is a little susceptible. The problem is trying to get past their front wall, right? But if he can get into the secondary, right, he might have a couple good runs up his sleeve. Says it hasn't been his best season by any means, but considering he missed 4 games out and offense as a whole has been inept all year, he's impressed. Giants opted to franchise him at $10.09 million cap hit. He's going to be 27 next month. So if a long-term deal is reached, the Giants will have Barkley on the books until he's around 30 years old. Will his production remain the same throughout the 3 or 4 years? That's the question. Joe Schoen needs an answer to when Barkley comes to the negotiating table. Schoen needs to find a way to make Barkley happy, but it also has to be at the right price, though. It can't be, well, we want to have Saquon here. We're going to make him happy, so we'll give him 15. it can't be that. But as I've said this, I don't know how many times in my videos, right? Saquon is more than just a running back, right? He's like the face of the franchise. Now, whether he's on a little bit of a decline, or what's he worth, or that's forget about all that. He puts butts in the stands. People come to see Saquon. When you look up in the stands and you see a lot of 2.6s on the jerseys, and especially younger kids, so he's a lot more than just a running back. He's not Matt Breida. He's not Brightwell. He's not Deshaun Corbin. He's not Eric Gray, right? That's Saquon Barkley. Okay. His face at 2.6 means a heck of a lot not to his organization, but the entire, the area, so, hopefully we can find a way. I would absolutely love nothing better than have him on the team, especially for another 3-4 years, and maybe he'll retire as a Giant. That would be fantastic. But once again, it's got to be at the right price. Yeah. And the other thing I always say, and of course the players never want to hear this, and I get it, but there's so many ways in today's world to make money. So many ways. And, as I said, I don't want to downgrade the guys and stuff like that. So, because I'm a horrible athlete, so I don't want to downgrade them or like that. But some of them make it sound like, if I don't get my 12 or 13, how am I supposed to feed my family? Right. I mean, if I don't make 12 or 13 for 2 or 3 years, I mean, how am I supposed to survive? I just can't do it. There's so many ways to make money. I mean, he's making his 10 million, but if he has other endorsements, some guys are probably making more money on endorsements than they are playing football. And let's not forget, after football's over with, life does not come to an end, right? I mean, once Saquon retires, a meteor is not going to come out of the sky, crash into the earth, and all life as we know it goes away. That's not, the world's going to go on. And if you're a model football player like Saquon is, a good athlete, this, that, all of that stuff, he can make so much money. He can make more money after football than he could playing football. So, obviously, you can't tell them that, but I mean, there's so much money to be made out there. It's not even funny, So I hope he doesn't have a hard head where he's like, I got to get 13 or 14 or, there's so many ways to make money out there. And I said, somebody's got, like Tony Romo, like he's calling plays, calling game. He's making like, I don't know how many millions and millions. He's making so much more calling a game, sitting in a booth with Jim Nantz calling a game than he was ever being a quarterback. I mean, same thing with Saquon, right? After, he's a handsome guy, well-spoken, respected, loved, all that stuff, man. He would be, how many CBS, NBC, those television that would love to have him on it, ESPN or something like that, be a broadcaster or something. I mean, I don't know if that's what he wants to do, but, oh, man, he can make so much money. Oh, not even funny. And as I said, endorsements. Right, he can get money doing that too. So there's all kinds of ways of making money. So let's hope. I really hope. I'd love to have him back. I don't want to see Saquon in another jersey. Absolutely not. So he's kind of like a Shep. Let's have him finish his career out here with the Giants with Saquon. And that brings up one thing real fast with Shep. I think he needs 2 receptions to at least tie Jeremy Shockey for 5th all time. So, Shep's, I think, has 7 receptions all season. So, chances of them putting him in there and him getting 2 or 3 receptions, I don't know. It's kind of slim, but I'd love to see him get a couple receptions and maybe crack the top 5 all time. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Shep because they know it's probably his last game ever as a Giant. So, let's see if maybe they can get him on the field, maybe whip up some of his old magic, maybe get a couple receptions. That'd be absolutely fantastic. So if the football gods are looking upon us, right, as much as we've been screwed over this season, right? A lot of it's self-inflicted. We some of the performances we've had are not good, but with all the injuries and stuff, we've had to sustain some bad ref calls or no calls or not like that. man, it would be so great to end this season with the win. Yeah, whether that hurts our draft spots or not, man. Let's hope, man, we come home with a W. Man, I would love that. Because I can't. I'm down here. I'm about 20 minutes from Philadelphia. I'm Philly's here. I'm directly east from Philly, so it's about 20 minutes. I can be across the bridge and in Philly. 25 minutes, right in Philly, South Philly. So, man, I just this area it's all Philly fans. Can't stand them. Hate the Eagles. Man, I would absolutely love it for two things: that the Giants can beat them, and I can't wait for the Eagles to lose in the playoffs. That'd make my year. Absolutely make my year. All right, guys. Well, it's been 1 hour. Star Wars Geek 85. Like the name. Good talking to you, brother. So let's hope the Giants can pull one out. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.